Hey, hi, this is RJ from Finpati, your finance partner. I'll just try to take you through the how to analyze the trends and the relative strength. Relative strength here doesn't really mean the relative strength indicator that we generally put in at the bottom and see the divergence with the price and all. But this relative strength, what I mean to say here is uh, identify the stock which is the most performing, the best performing stock in the market completely. And we generally, if we have to say we have picked up a best performing stock, it should also be from a sector which is currently performing better. So now if you see, say example, the trends generally keep changing every now and then, kind of every kind of 6 months at least, a cycle. There it could be a 6 month cycle. Based on that, you can opt out to be a better one, to be in the better one. Now if you see this is a chart from 2020. It's from the corona fall. It's kind of the pandemic fall. Since then you can see the movement that has happened in the metals, but people have expected a lot of positive happening around pharma and FMCGs, because people are sitting inside and they start ordering on the phone. They expect things would happen on the phones, they expect the FMCG and pharma to outperform the markets. But see the reality here. Since then the lowest performed, whatever you see in the market, whatever you listen in the market as news might not be the facts. So you need to assess what is correct and what is wrong. So India, as I have already explained previously, India is the largest exporter. It's kind of manufacturer or kind of producer of the metals. So most of its exports or GDP are completely depending on the metals. So that is the one which generally will be, which bounced up very soon. So you can see that you can see here, and on the right side you can see what indexes performed since then. You see that 220, even despite a huge fall in that metal sector, you still see that it has outperformed with the 217% in the metals. Auto sector has outperformed with the 173, where you see only 56% of performance from the last couple of years from 2020 fall. You see only 56% in FMCG and 72% in the pharma. So do you still want to say that these are the outperforming sectors? Then I leave it to your decision. But see, so you haven't, if you feel that the pharma is a better performing sector and you try to be in it, and eventually you have ended up only with 50 to 60 percentage, which they really hardly, with the stock that you have selected, I doubt even if you have got this 52% or 72% at least. Now how to, so based on that you need to identify what is the sector which is currently entering into a bullish phase. So probably from 2 years you're seeing it, this is the picture that you're currently seeing, but it might change with time. So if you move into I'm a person who consider that, who feel that the trends will start changing from the September quarter results. So that's what I consider it as a very core or a very strong result, because they are half yearly results. So I consider it as a better um, area to take decisions. So October, November is when generally the trends will keep changing, is what I feel from my end. So it's not from, probably you might see the effect of price movement only from 2022, or like from the year change, maybe from January, February. That's when you keep changing, you keep seeing the price movement in it. But the reality is the acquisition has happened kind of a month or two before. So now what I expect is, see, you can see that still there is a strong outperformance given by metals, and even when you look at the 1 year performance as well. And there is a strong bounce in the reality sector as well. And you see the next performance is actually, surprisingly, it's PSU banks. So from last 1.5 year, the second best performing sector is actually PSU banks. You can see that from last 1.5 year, you see 122 percentage in metals, 1 or 2 percentage in PSUs, and that's how it goes. And when you see the pharma, it's only the 9% growth again, and the media is 30 percentage growth from the lower side. And the IT, which we talked a lot about, that has given only 39 percentage. So should you have to be in a stock which is kind of deteriorating or falling, So first thing is, that's okay. I have told this multiple times to all the followers or my friends as well. That's okay to be in a wrong stock, but you should never be in a wrong sector. So that's what that's the very important point that I believe. So now if I see the latest trends, so from 2022, if you see the trend, so you see a very new trend coming in. The metals are nowhere bullish. Obviously they have fallen a lot. So you always should identify whether you are in a right sector or not. So 6 months trend is what you generally can you can rely upon. And that's the, if you want to identify a relative strength, you need at least a data of 6 months trend. So you see a crossover, the candlestick pattern which you're seeing is the Nifty here. And from there, the auto, of course, you're seeing the auto as 11 percentage growth from the last one and a half, from last 8 months or so. But here it has given a positive indicator somewhere at April kind of 19th. Only in from that date the auto sector has started outperforming, that has beaten the Nifty movement. So if Nifty has moved 50 points, so does it mean that all the stocks have moved 50% to 50 points? No, it doesn't. So there are stocks which are stronger and they moved up better than the stocks which have fallen down. So kind of you need to identify the stocks which you need to be in. In that case, you need to identify which sector that is outperforming. Currently, I see that the auto or Nifty auto that has actually crossed that Nifty, and it has never came back even despite of huge fall in the month of April to May. Despite that fall, you still see that there is a huge fall which has happened in the candlestick patterns here of Nifty. But along with that, Nifty auto has also fallen, but still that has proved to be the safest sector, because the other stocks have fallen even wider and huge. Nifty IT, you can see that it is given a cross down even in the last year itself. Will people didn't even realize that Nifty, there is a huge selling which is happening with Nifty IT when it comes to the comparison. So people started identifying the Nifty have started falling only in the month of kind of April to May areas. So now let's move and see. So when it has given at April 19th, then okay, fine. So now you identified a couple of sectors which has crossed or kind of giving a better performance than Nifty as a whole, which you identified in the month. Say example on 19th of April is is the point where you have identified a crossover. Then even then, if you have realized, then you now let's take the Nifty auto sector here as a comparison, and let's see what has happened then. So from the same 2022, I have plotted the Nifty auto here. You can see that there is this very steep bounce or steep movement which is happening in few stocks, though despite of course this is definitely a good movement in it. And but earlier it was kind of 13%, and now it is ended up only at 19%, the movement in the movement in Bajaj Auto. But you can see there is a huge spike. So when you need to identify at this point, so April 19th, what are the stocks which made this sector move above the Nifty performance? So here, when you see this, when this is the point, you see the lot of stocks which has actually fallen down. But there are only two good stocks which have moved seriously high. You can see that the movement is seriously high around. So those are actually, you can see that this is one which I'll just highlight that to you, which is M&M. That's constantly, which is actually showing a very strong performance here. It bounced up and it is slowly moving up. And similar to this, there is one more stock which is again moving, which has given a positive movement here. Here you can see a purple one, which is TVS Motors, which is given a movement. So Nifty auto managed to move above Nifty on April 19th because of few stocks which are there in that sector. You need to identify which stock which is responsible for making that sector move above the broader benchmark. So had you been part of this, let's see what is the movement which has happened in TVS Motors since then. So if you see, have you identified it here April 19th, then if you entered into TVS Motors or M&M together, or kind of the top two performing stocks, then see what would have been the results here. So I'm just trying to move this, and I'll just try to move that to the April 19th. Then let's see what is the movement since then. So from April 19th, there is a movement of 34 percentage in M&M and 36 percentage in TVS Motors. So despite a huge fall, there is a you still can manage identifying such returns. Yeah, from the month of April, May, and June. You know how disastrous people's kind of portfolios are. So you need to identify what are the stocks which have crossed their benchmarks, which are trading above their benchmarks, and need to identify it. See the stocks. People have talked a lot about Sona Comstar. See that has given, while the sector itself has outperformed when the stocks of its own sector are actually outperforming like anything. It has given a negative returns of 9%, where Bharat Forge has given a negative returns of 11%. Nifty has given a negative returns of 5%. Despite Nifty giving a negative returns of 5%, these stocks have outperformed and has given you 36 and 34% of positive performance. So what really means, what is the gist that you take away from this video is try to be in the stocks which are relatively stronger, and this is how you should actually identify the sectors and the stocks which you need to be in. There are beautiful tools which gives you better information on how to identify it, and I'll definitely recommend to get into the scanners of the stockage, probably, which you can use the relative strength index of 55 days and adaptive and the adaptive and static relative strength indicator scans as well. We will talk about how to combine these relative performance scans in a next session, and probably whenever I find some time, I'll just try to put the direction videos of how to create a combination scans. Probably if you want to have a combination scan on a stockage, probably you may need to have a paid subscription of it. Otherwise you only can look into the individual scans though. Anyways, so that's it for this video. I don't want to make it longer. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.